In this video, you will learn the best diet and lifestyle changes you can make to seriously improve the health of your sinuses, so you can reduce the awful symptoms of chronic sinus problems and take back your life. People who haven't experienced long-term sinus problems don't understand the pain and stress it can cause, but I do. I lived a lot of my life with the crippling effects of nasal congestion and recurrent sinusitis, but not anymore. So I decided to make this video to help you learn the tips that could get rid of your chronic sinus problems naturally and massively improve your life too. To achieve the best results, I suggest following the treatment plan in my first chronic sinus problems video as well, which I'll link in the description. I'm Duncan, a GP working in the UK with an interest in truly holistic ways to optimise physical and mental health. I'd be honoured to be your guide to help you reach the best possible state of fitness and well-being. Before I go into the details of how to sort your chronic sinus problems, I'll briefly cover some of the important general points. What you'll learn through this video are healthy ways to reduce inflammation in your body. Lowering inflammation reduces the triggers and symptoms associated with your chronic sinus problems, many of which are due to inflammatory responses. The advice in this video will also help to improve your overall health, reduce the risk of many chronic diseases, and increase your longevity through the reduction of chronic inflammation. Sleep is vital for every part of your body to work properly. Nature hasn't been able to evolve sleep out of any living organism in the entire history of life on Earth. This is despite sleep being a state where organisms can't feed, reproduce, or protect themselves. Therefore, sleep is non-negotiable. Giving yourself an adequate sleep opportunity of 7 to 9 hours is highly important for overall health, and that includes the health of your sinuses. Your immune system is reset as you sleep, so inflammation is reduced by having an adequate sleep of 7 to 9 hours, and inflammation is increased when you sleep 6 hours or less. Stress worsens chronic sinus problems along with many other health issues, and does this in a number of ways. Due to its negative effects on the immune system, stress lowers your ability to fight infection while also increasing inflammation. This can lead to recurrent sinusitis among many other problems. Stress also affects the cardiovascular system by increasing blood pressure. The increase in blood flow to the nasal passages can cause blockage of the airways as the blood vessels increase in size. Stress also has the knock-on effect of worsening sleep quality, reducing motivation to exercise, and triggers craving for unhealthy foods. For tips on managing stress by activating your calming parasympathetic nervous system, see this video, which I'll link in the description. Keeping hydrated is very important to make sure your mucus isn't too thick. You could also consider supplementing with N-acetylcysteine, or NAC for short, to thin your mucus if needed. I'll add links in the description for the NAC I've used, but other brands are fine. It should have a strong eggy sulfur smell if it's genuine NAC. Exercise also significantly benefits sinus health by improving your cardiovascular health, reducing stress, improving sleep, boosting the immune system, and reducing inflammation. No matter what your mind says, you can find time to exercise. You've just got to kick yourself up the arse and do it. Histamine is a chemical messenger in your body and is released during inflammatory responses like allergic reactions. Histamine also has a role in the regulation of your sleep-wake cycle, your cognitive function, and in the production of stomach acid. Most medications used to treat allergic reactions work by blocking the action of histamine, and these medications are called antihistamines. Higher levels of histamine in your body can have effects similar to allergic reactions, such as itching, a rash, wheezing, a blocked nose, and increased mucus production. As histamine is a universal chemical messenger, it's also present in other living organisms and in some foods. The main foods that contain higher levels of histamine are aged or fermented foods. Many aged cheeses and all alcoholic drinks have particularly high amounts of histamine. In many people prone to chronic sinus problems, asthma, or any allergic problems, eating histamine-rich foods can trigger symptoms of these diagnoses. So it's worth eliminating cheeses and alcohol from your diet for a month or two to see how much it improves your sinus symptoms. You could try to reintroduce them back into your diet to assess how problematic they are if you can't live without cheese or alcohol. But it would be sensible to remove them completely if your symptoms worsen upon reintroduction into your diet. I'm well aware of the face patients give me when I counsel them about alcohol, so I am being intentionally gentle with my advice here. Ideally, you would just stop having alcohol altogether, as it has many other negative health consequences, like increasing the risk of several cancers even at low levels of consumption. I've not had any alcohol for almost 5 years and feel amazing for it. Processed meats tend to be high in histamine and are known carcinogens, so ideally these should be eliminated from your diet or kept to infrequent treats if you can't live without a bit of spicy sausage. Some fruit and veg have higher levels of histamine than others, such as tomatoes and spinach. However, the health benefits of these foods far outweigh their potential negative effect on your sinuses. I've not experienced sinus problems from eating any fruit or veg, and haven't met any patients that have either. So my advice would be to continue eating lots of fruit and veg, as it creates an anti-inflammatory diet, which I'll be covering in more detail later in the video. Anything that triggers an inflammatory response in your body can worsen sinus problems. Chronic inflammation also increases the risk of many chronic diseases, including heart disease, cancer, dementia, diabetes, and many others. Lots of environmental factors can trigger inflammation, including the foods you eat. Your diet is potentially the most avoidable source of inflammation in your life. Saturated fats have been shown to induce inflammation. Foods that are higher in saturated fats are generally from animals, but palm fat and coconut fat are also predominantly composed of saturated fat. Spikes in blood sugar trigger inflammation, so avoiding high sugar foods can help reduce your sinus problems, along with the many chronic diseases linked to inflammation. Just a note, eating sugar before or during exercise is much less of a problem, as your body will burn the sugar for energy, meaning circulating blood sugar levels remain safe. Eating too much salt increases blood pressure and causes inflammation, as well as dehydrating you, leading to thicker mucus. So avoiding foods with added salt can help reduce your sinus problems. Omega-6 fatty acids increase inflammation in your body, while omega-3 fatty acids reduce inflammation. So eating a diet with a higher proportion of omega-6 and not enough omega-3 can lead to persistently increased inflammation through your body. Cooking oils, such as vegetable oil and many seed oils, are high in omega-6 fatty acids. So avoid eating too many fried foods or any food that contains a lot of vegetable or seed oils. This leads me on to ultra-processed foods, or UPF for short. UPF is usually a mix of the pro-inflammatory foods I've just mentioned in an easy-to-eat product that's designed for overconsumption. UPF generally has high sugar, salt, saturated fat, and omega-6, with added chemicals that boost their inflammatory effect. UPF is one of the worst things you can eat on a regular basis. It drives food addiction, obesity, type 2 diabetes, cancers, and many other diseases. UPF damages the microbiome in your gut, leading to an even higher risk of inflammation and chronic diseases. UPF also harms the planet due to its production methods and huge volumes of waste and pollution, but that issue is not within the remit of this video. As a simple guide, if you've seen it on an advert or it has a list of ingredients you struggle to pronounce, it's probably UPF. I've already mentioned alcohol due to the high histamine content of alcoholic drinks, but it has a place here too. The toxic effect of alcohol also increases inflammation in your body, even at relatively low levels considered safe by most people. So to reduce the triggering of inflammation in your body, to reduce your sinus problems, consider reducing the amount of sugar, salt, saturated fat, omega-6 fatty acids, and alcohol in your diet. Definitely avoid eating ultra-processed foods on a regular basis. That junk seriously harms your body and mind. Sadly, it is hard to avoid these days. To learn more about UPF, I will again suggest the book Ultra Processed People by Chris Van Tulloken and add a link in the description. It's a stunningly good book that I've completed several times, and it's helped me to hugely improve my family's health. Eating an anti-inflammatory diet is one of the best things you can do for your overall health and longevity. There is large amounts of evidence showing the potential disease prevention and reversal effects of an anti-inflammatory diet, which then leads to living longer and healthier lives. Reducing chronic inflammation in your body is very beneficial for improving your sinus problems, particularly when combined with the treatment plan from my first sinus problems video. The keys to eating an anti-inflammatory diet are reducing the amount of pro-inflammatory foods you eat, as I just discussed, and increasing the amount of anti-inflammatory foods and antioxidant foods in your diet. Essentially, you need to eat more plants. Because plants can't move on their own, they have evolved huge numbers of special compounds to protect themselves from harsh and changing environments and the potentially damaging effects of sunlight. Polyphenols are the main group of these protective compounds, and we've evolved to utilize their beneficial effects when we eat whole plant foods. This includes the anti-inflammatory properties of many polyphenols. Polyphenols often provide the colours of fruit and veg, like the red and purple anthocyanin pigments found in fruit like berries and apples, or in purple vegetables. So choosing fruits and veg with brighter and deeper colours helps to ensure you are getting more polyphenols in your diet. Having a variety of different polyphenols is important to get the most benefit and greatest anti-inflammatory effect. So the phrase, "eat the rainbow," is helpful as a guide for your food choices. Teas like green tea, white tea, black tea, and chamomile tea are very high in polyphenols and antioxidants. Coffee also has high levels of particularly powerful polyphenols called oligomeric proanthocyanidins, which are also found in dark chocolate, blueberries, and grapes. Antioxidants such as vitamin C are also present in the same whole plant foods, so you don't need to think specifically about polyphenols and antioxidants separately. Just eat a big variety of plants to get the most antioxidant benefits. Herbs and spices are an excellent way to get some of the most powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant foods into your diet. Turmeric and ginger are two of the most anti-inflammatory foods known. A teaspoon of dried oregano doubles the antioxidant capacity of a tomato marinara sauce for 2 people. So try to add herbs and spices to your food as much as possible. It's important to know that casein, a protein found in dairy, binds to many polyphenols, which significantly reduces your ability to absorb them. This means you get around 50% more polyphenols from fruit, teas, or coffee when you have them without any dairy products such as milk or cream. Another important point is taking antioxidant supplements has been found to worsen health outcomes in most studies. Taking high-dose antioxidant supplements such as vitamin C can put your body's internal systems too far out of balance, leading to a reduction in your health. Nature has put just the right balance of nutrients into plants, so you will get the most benefits from eating whole plant foods and avoiding antioxidant supplements. Polyphenols also feed the beneficial bacteria in your gut microbiome, which I will discuss shortly. In the next chapter, I will also tell you how the fibre in whole plant foods has anti-inflammatory effects thanks to your microbiome. The universe of friendly bacteria, viruses, and fungi that inhabit your body is called the microbiome. Microorganisms were here a long time before us, and all complex life has evolved around microbes. Each part of your body has its own unique microbiome, with very different colonies of different microbes. Keeping your friendly microbes healthy is vital to keeping yourself healthy. As discussed in my first sinus problems video, your microbiome is closely linked to your immune system. This means your microbial signature is more unique than your fingerprint, but it also means your microbiome can affect levels of inflammation in your body. Some of the bacteria in your microbiome can increase inflammation, while others can actively reduce inflammation. As a rule of thumb, the bacteria that feed on animal proteins and fats increase inflammation, while those that feed on the polyphenols and fibre in plants reduce inflammation. So eating a good variety of plants with a bare minimum of 30 grams of fibre a day ensures your microbiome can help you reduce inflammation by increasing the number of anti-inflammatory bacteria in your gut and the beneficial compounds they produce. I personally aim to eat at least 50 to 70 grams of fibre a day, which includes supplementing with a prebiotic fibre called inulin. Prebiotics are basically the food for the friendly bacteria in your microbiome. Inulin can be dissolved in warm water or hot drinks and has a mildly sweet taste. So it's a really easy way to feed the friendly bacteria in your gut and improve your overall health. I suggest having 1 teaspoon of inulin twice a day to get the best effect, and we'll add links in the description to help you find it. As the beneficial bacteria in your gut feed on the fibre you eat, they release short-chain fatty acids such as butyrate, propionate, and acetate. These postbiotic compounds can act like hormones or neurotransmitters in your body. Science has relatively recently discovered that receptors found throughout the body are stimulated by the short-chain fatty acids released by the microbiome when they feed on fibre. Before we knew what these receptors were for, they were called orphan receptors. These receptors are found in your immune system and can reduce inflammatory reactions when they are triggered by short-chain fatty acids. They are also found in many other parts of your body and have many functions, such as regulating metabolism, energy balance, and gut health. So this is another way eating plants reduces inflammation, thanks to your microbiome using the fibre to produce short-chain fatty acids that actively tell your immune system to calm down. Along with feeding your microbiome with the polyphenols and fibres found in whole plant foods, probiotics can also help to ensure you have a diverse and healthy microbiome. Probiotic is the term used to describe bacteria that have beneficial effects on your health. Probiotics can be found in live yogurts such as kefir, in non-dairy alternatives like coconut kefir, in kombucha, in fermented foods like raw sauerkraut or kimchi, or in probiotic supplements which include capsules and powders. It's worth having probiotics regularly in whichever form you prefer. Capsules can be more cost effective than lots of yogurt, so I'll add links in the descriptions to the ones I personally take. As I previously discussed, fermented foods can contain natural histamine. However, I have not had any problems eating kimchi or sauerkraut myself, and I've got a totally stupid and overactive immune system. I haven't had any patients describe problems with kimchi or sauerkraut either, but you may wish to start with small amounts to see if you have any issues eating fermented foods. If you're following the advice in my first sinus problems video, you may already have some kimchi in the fridge. EGCG, which is a polyphenol in green tea, kills inflammation-promoting bacteria in the microbiome while feeding the ones that reduce inflammation. So, regular consumption of green tea can be very beneficial for your microbiome and your overall health. I'll link my second fat-burning video in the description as I explain how to brew green tea properly to get the best flavour. So, in summary, eating a big variety of whole plant foods is the most important way to maintain a healthy microbiome, ensuring you eat a mix of different coloured fruits and vegetables. Aim for a minimum of 40 to 50 grams of fibre a day if you can, and consider supplementing with inulin powder for additional prebiotic benefits. Consuming probiotics in the form of live fermented food or drinks, or as probiotic supplements, is also very sensible. If you have irritable bowel syndrome, it's worth starting with small amounts of fibre and inulin to minimise your symptoms as your bowels become healthier and more active. Any unwanted symptoms caused by the initial stage of a higher fibre diet usually settle within a couple of weeks or so, and then you get the long-term benefits of having improved gut health. I won't go over this too much, as talking about dairy-free diets seems to trigger a lot of emotion for many people. Formal evidence for links between dairy and sinus problems is very mixed. This is partly due to the dairy industry producing a lot of the scientific trials, as they have the money to do so. However, there is a lot of anecdotal evidence that cutting out dairy from your diet can significantly help reduce chronic sinus problems in many people. Some people can react to the proteins and natural hormones found in dairy, leading to increased inflammatory reactions, even in people without a true dairy allergy. So it may be worth a 1 to 2 month trial of a dairy-free diet to see if your symptoms improve. At least you'll absorb more polyphenols if you do cut out dairy. If you found this video helpful, consider subscribing to my channel. I'll be creating more content to help you optimize your health and well-being with natural and healthy methods that don't involve drugs and actually get you better. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you can get rid of your troublesome sinus problems. All good things take a bit of time, so allow a couple of months for these dietary and lifestyle changes to take effect. Being mindful can help you get through difficult times. If you can't change something immediately, which in reality is most things in life, you can change how you think about it. Surrendering to the experience the universe gives you and allowing it to be can really help. Your body can heal more effectively if your mind is calm. I often say the phrases, "it is what it is," or "this too will pass," in my head to remind me to be present and tolerate whatever situation I find myself in, even if it's uncomfortable. I may be a medical doctor, but I'm not your doctor, so don't be a chuff, and make sure you see your own healthcare provider if you have any health-related or medical concerns. Good luck in your journey. I wish you all the best. Always remember, we are all part of the universe together. Much love.